Hey, good morning or afternoon, or whatever the heck it is. I think it's afternoon now. It finally stopped raining, so we have enough time to go ahead and get some of these plants in the ground between rainstorms. So we're going to put in the tomatoes and some of the beans and cantaloupes and squash in the raised beds. All right. Yay! Planting time. I'll get some little shovels. So we do have some volunteers. Actually, we got lots of volunteers coming up where the tomatoes were. And that all just kind of happened this week. Everything from last year that we let some of the tomatoes go, they're in there, baby. Yeah, so gonna have to clean this bed out, but we're gonna plant in this bed back here, get those tomatoes in there, put them with the other tomatoes, and have all the tomatoes be happy together. And then those will all root in. And then all the hairs. So then all the hairs on the stems will turn into roots, and you'll have a way stronger plant if when it's trimmed off like this, the way it's supposed to be, and then you put it in the dirt sideways. That gives you a very robust plant. Very robust. All right, guys, you're not going to believe the miracle that just came. We have the rooftop gutters have finally come through after many moons of contractors coming and going and not doing stuff and taking money and running. A reputable company finally crossed our doorstep.
Uttermost guttering.
So we got the large gutter on the top over here, and now they're just rolling it out, setting up the end caps for the gutters on the other side. This took them all of a couple hours.
Just a couple hours so far.
So this is quite a bit bigger than the first one. These are 6 or 8?
6-inch gutters, yes sir.
So they'll hold quite a bit more capacity.
They're seamless. Well, they hold not quite twice as much, but real close to it. If you measured the volume of it, because they're they're a lot bigger. You can stick a 5-inch gutter down inside that thing.
Mm-hmm. Looks like they're deeper.
6 inches that way, 5.5 inches that way, and they're, I think, 4 at the bottom. Yeah.
And did you have any ideas of how to incorporate it into the tank system over there, or are we just going to run it straight out?
Well, the thing that we can do is, what we'll do is we put 3 downspouts on that top.
All right.
And where that water will run the downspout down, and since you have the metal roof, it'll run down that channel. That's the rib, in between the ribs, and we'll come down here on your gutter. And you might want to get us to come back and put a bigger gutter on that later on if it doesn't work. But we'll put a flange, just a flange like this,
sure,
across on your gutter, and the water will hit that flange and dump into your gutter and go right down there into the water bill.
Okay.
Yep. And we distributed the water in 3 different downspouts instead of 2.
Yeah.
That way it doesn't overload the 5-inch gutter.
Yeah.
From what will already be on there, because we're just controlling water, really catching the water and putting it where we want to put it. When before it was just everywhere on that. So
all right,
sounds great.
Cool, man. Good deal.
Sounds awesome.
Hopefully, guys, this will help the leaks that we have. before I got sick, we were chasing down trying to figure out where the leak was coming from, and now we're eliminating a huge potential of where this stuff is coming from.
Right.
And water is notorious for leaking in one spot and then running down a beam, and then it's a long way from where you think it is. So once we get all the leaks done, then we can continue operations on building the lean-to out. So, but boy,
it's been something else.
It has been really a journey trying to figure out how to get this water diverted so that we can stop these leaks.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few screws up there on top that were sealed, you know, where you must have had some leaks.
Well, we tried to seal all of it, and then the guy who went up there and did it didn't finish his job. Like every contractor who's come has missed the mark every time. Everybody I've ever hired down here since we've been down here. So I don't have any high expectations.
Well, your fire's been put out so many times.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times what happens on these buildings, they're wood frame buildings, right? And so it's lath, and so the screws are residential screws, which they have some commercial ones up there on that rib. But what happens over a period of time is, which this is not an old building, is it?
2010.
Okay.
So not very old.
It's not very old. So, I mean, it shouldn't have any leaks whatsoever. No leaks, you know, once it was first done right. But sometimes the screws, the rubber washers on the screws will dry rot.
Yeah.
And
we had quite a few of those on there, and some were over tightened.
Yeah. So
and then
that's
some of them
small.
In here, when they were loose, then it was eroding the screw right at the shaft. You can see where it was. So there's been a combination of, well, we learned a lot.
Yeah, I bet
about
you have,
how wind does things, how rain does things, how when you put them in wrong.
It's the best thing to do is replace your screws. Take get a better quality screw, a better quality washer, and take this residential screw out and put commercial screws in. You know, they're bigger, better, and some of them actually you can get a screw that has actually a weather cap around the rubber where it does not dry rot. And that's a metal building situation as far as like red iron, you know.
Right.
But sometimes on buildings like this, you have to do that. But most of the time you don't.
And a lot of times when they say that you got a 50-year warranty on a metal roof, that doesn't mean the fasteners.
Yeah.
You know, if you got exposed fasteners, you're supposed to replace those every 5 years? 10 years?
5 to 10 years. I mean, need to check them.
That's in the fine print that nobody reads.
Yeah, right. Because your ground moves, the building moves, and these screws will work up.
Yep.
Especially if your structure high wind, they'll just, I don't know, I've seen them. I've put gutters on roofs before and looked on the roof and seen screws sticking up, you know, and we screwed a bunch of them down. Then we'll tell the customer, you know.
Yeah.
That just it somehow they work up sometimes, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
I'll let you get to it, and we'll just keep watching as you work your magic.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So I'm happy to report it has rained multiple times since we put these new gutters on, and it has not leaked at all anywhere on the roof or on the walls. So we finally figured this out. Huzzah! Woo woo! All right, we're going to do some hive upgrades today. We're going to add 2 additional feeders, and we're going to put the other deep on. And we have some pollen patty we're going to put in there. Again, this is a new hive, it's a week old. So we're going to try to help speed up the production of the frames, get them all worked out. So we're going to open the hive up and double the feeders in the new box. In the new box we do have the pollen patty and the 2-gallon feeder. So, and then a bunch of empty frames. Put the pollen patty feeder in. This is the FD100 entrance feeder Boardman. Super easy design. It does have the gravity feed system, so once you turn it over, after a few drips, it'll just slowly drip out. The bees can get inside there and lap up the excellent sugar water, or whatever you're gonna put in there, the syrups. That'll also reduce the entrance a little bit. I do have a entrance reducer, but it's either too big or too small. I want to reduce the size a little bit. We do have, my neighbor does have 4 hives, or did have 4 hives. I don't know if he even has hives anymore. But he did have hives, so I'm always concerned about robbing. But he's the only one here, and I don't even think he's registered. I'm not even sure. But we want to make sure that we have, you know, ample room, but a small enough entrance so that the girls can protect their hive. If it's too open on a new hive, they won't adequately be able to protect it because there's not enough bees protecting the entrance. So again, we're trying to avoid robbing at that point. And observing the hive is super important, just to make sure that, you know, we have what we need. And watching the bees come in and out. Again, we're looking for pollen on the legs. We're going to do a hive inspection today, so we're going to be looking for eggs. We're going to try to find the queen. We want to make sure that there's brood, and we got to make sure that there's pollen and nectar or honey. There was honey on some of the frames. There's a lot of nectar being built up right now. We do have the syrups, again, trying to help build up the colony before we put the honey supers on. So let's get into it. Not sure I can bring you along. Let's try this. It kind of works. We'll give her a try, see what happens. All right. So we're going to inspect these frames. Frame 2. Not that it's really needed. I don't have a good way to view this. Over there. So they're starting to stick them together. That's good. Uh-oh, got a hive beetle. That's bad. Another hive beetle. Get that out of there. So they're on the frame, but they're not building it out yet. Starting to build out the second one. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray these with some sugar water to help encourage the bees to build these frames out. Oh, here we go. Now they're building out this guy. That looks nice. Of course, that might be a queen comb. I don't think so. Maybe not. Well, these look like brand new bees. The wings look pretty good. Trying to find the queen. I don't think she's on this frame. But you can see they're starting to put pollen already inside some of these new cells, so that's good. That's what we like to see. Checking in the bottom of the box. Doing pretty good. So let's go ahead and spray this down a little bit. sugar water. Okay. Nice. Nice idea. I think we got some capped honey, a bunch of nectar in this one. Some brood in there. Trying to do my best to not kill any of the bees or squish them, which is harder than it looks sometimes. All right. There's some honey, we got some brood. We're definitely filling up with nectar. Lots of brood yet on this one. I was trying to glue these frames together. All right. Well, I can't see too good here. Go ahead and spray this frame down. Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing larvae, so that's good. If I can see any. Might be hard to see just because I'm in their land. But I don't see any eggs. Again, that's just kind of hard to see. All right. All right, so we got pollen in this one. Honey, brood, pollen. There we go. We got smaller bees in this guy. Smaller eggs. Got some honey in here. A lot of nectar. There's some that are poking out, coming out. Today's their day. Today is their day. So we're looking at the premium bee suit here, the UK keepers or UKers. This is the premium suit, and it is very breathable. We really like this suit. The gloves does come with a very long gauntlet on the arms, and you can see that there's multiple layers in here. The larger squares keep the suit off of your body, and so these, I mean, it's dang near 90 degrees right now, and this is probably one of the most comfortable breathable suits that I've ever had on. Very nice leather gloves, and it does come with 2 veils, the traditional helmet style veil as well as the more modern veil. I forget what it's called. And it does have full zippers. So when we put this on, it does run a little bit small. So if you're right on the cusp of a size, I recommend going up one size. So you have the zippers to zip this together, and then the Velcro to put it all together here. And we are going to make sure that the center zipper is all the way up. We want everything to overlap correctly. And then we're going to bring the zippers in on the veil, and then Velcro down here. So very nice, lots of room. I got full range of motion with the properly set up size suit. I do have a cell phone in my pocket here, so it does hold a cell phone. It does have for doing your beekeeping records. It does have a place for pens, notebooks, that kind of thing. And it does have pretty nice pockets. The knees are padded, and the cuffs on the boots, there's cuffs on the arms and on the boots. Overall, this is a really nice suit. We're really happy with it, and for the price, you can't beat it. And we're down here in Arkansas, so we're constantly dealing with 100-degree heat. Again, more pockets over here. Really well designed suit, and it should last a really long time. We'll wash it a few times and then give a report back on how durable it holds up. And we typically hand wash our suits and then, you know, treat our gloves and that kind of stuff. So comes with some nice tags as well. Really nice stuff. UKeepers, be safe, be sting free. UKeepers.us is where the suit, you can see their own website. Really affordable on Amazon. They do stock them, so it's very easy to get this suit. All right, we're going to work some hives. Thanks for watching.